know, should I do it in black and white? Can't see my dark circles as much. Oh, look, and I cut my bangs. I was having moments, and I can't afford a tattoo right now, so. Hi everyone, I'm April, and you're watching The Tangled Cat Speaks, and this is a book edition. So, the last time I came on here, I was telling you about the cozy mysteries that I've been reading with Laura Childs, or not with Laura Childs, but by Laura Childs. She's got a tea shop series of cozy mysteries that I am thoroughly enjoying, and I did the last time I was like about halfway through the most current one that I've gotten to, and this is Chamomile Morning. I did finish it. I really enjoy these books. I'm not really going to talk a whole lot about the plot and the whole premise of this particular story. It's all very pretty, formulaic, and it's just fun. They're just fun to read. They're relaxing. They're light. You don't have to think too much. And I love the atmosphere because there's a tea shop involved, and there's recipes at the back of the book, which I'm not a baker. I'm not a cook. But I like that they're there. The story is just fun and light, and even though it's a murder mystery, you know, it's not gory and it's not graphic, and that's why I like them. So yes, I did finish Chamomile Morning. I'm going to put this series aside for a little while because I kind of want to get to some other things, other types of books, just so that I don't get burned out on reading constantly cozy mysteries. So one of those things that I did that is very different is a shortish kind of book that I got on my Kindle. It's a Western. And I don't know when this was published. I forgot to look that up. But Michael K. Vaughan, his channel here on YouTube, he started this yearly thing that he does every June called June on the Range. And what he does is he tries to read one Louis L'Amour, one, I believe it's Zane Grey, and then two other Westerns, could be by anybody. And I did that last year. This year I didn't because I don't have Louis L'Amour or Zane Grey right now. So, but at one point I did buy a bunch of Kindle books. It was like bundle sets for real inexpensive. This one I think is like, this series that I got is called Fargo by John Benteen, and there's like maybe 24. They're kind of short. They're kind of short. I would say more novella than novel, but they're Western. So I have quite a few Westerns on my Kindle, so I decided to read some of those. And the first thing that I pulled out was Fargo. And this is the first one, and I don't think it has another name other than that. And it's in black and white because it's on my Kindle. I hope you can see that okay. But what does it say? Fargo. Meet Neil Fargo, the best damn fighting man in the business. And just by how I read that is exactly how the book is. It's just stereotypical old cowboy. So he's in the Southwest, and he's known. Everybody knows this guy, Fargo. And people are like, oh, he's a badass. And there's people who wanna challenge him, and then there's other people who really respect him. There's other people who want to hire him. He's just kind of a gun for hire type of thing. And so this guy comes up to him and says, hey, you know, yeah, I'd like to hire you. I've got a mine down in Mexico, and I have a partner down there. He's keeping the gold mine going. He's still smelting the gold, and or whatever you call it, you know, making the gold into bars or whatever. And he's down there, and this is during I don't remember if it is it called the Mexican War. I don't know what it's called, but it's got Pancho Villa. So he's this man is worried because he's an American in Mexico with a mine, and he had permission to be there from the Mexican government. But now the government is shifting because of this revolution that's going on, blah blah blah, and he's worried that the Americans are going to be told to get out, and he's got this really really good producing mine, and so he's trying to at least get what he has out before everything is closed down. And so he hires Fargo to go with him to go get his partner and the gold that's already been ready, made into bars or whatever. And they just, he's just hoping that this Fargo is going to be able to help him get through the wild lands between Mexico and America. I can't remember what city they're in. I can't remember if it's Texas or Colorado even. I don't remember what states. Anyways, so Fargo agrees. He goes down there, and it's very, very spaghetti western type of cowboy stuff. There's shootouts, and there's campfires and guns. It's just what you imagine a western would be. It was really good. There is some backstabbing and betrayal and vengeance and all of this kind of stuff. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I do like westerns. There are more Fargo books. Like I said, I think there's 20 in there. I don't remember. But very easy, quick read, and I did, for the most part, enjoy it. I have started another Western, not the same author. Let me get back to that. This one is just a very, very short, what am I trying to say? Novella. A very short novella that I believe is a standalone. It's not part of another series as far as I can tell. You know what? I am a big fat liar. I do have a whole bunch of Zane Grey Westerns in here. Oh, I might have to do one of those next. Anyways, so the one that I just started, it's really short, so I'll probably finish it maybe tonight. It's called Rustlers in the Sage. I'm trying to get back to where the picture is. So you could see it. It's not easy to see on these Kindles, like I say, because they're black and white, but it's called Rustlers in the Sage by Donald L. Robertson. And this is what it looks like on my Kindle. And so far, what I can gather is there's a guy named Holt, and it starts off immediately. He's in somebody's property. He's on somebody's property, and he's trying to rest and water his horse. His horse just looks run down and ragged, and he gets confronted by some people and finds out he's on somebody's ranch, and he's like, I don't want any trouble. I just wanted to water my horse. We'll be on our way. But I am kind of looking for work. Is there anything to be found? And he was an ex-sheriff's deputy, I think. And when he was sheriffing, he ran across a person, and that guy is now working at this farm, and he confronts him like, oh, you did this, you did that, blah, 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 I hate you. And he's like, doesn't even try to figure anything out, doesn't try to be diplomatic. He just flat out socks him one, knocks him out. And then the owner of the ranch comes out and is like, you know the rules. There's no rule. There's no fighting on the ranch. So you're out. You're fired. Hey, Holt, do you want a job? Yes, I do. So now he's on this ranch, and he's starting to see some suspicious things. And he thinks that the second like the advisor to the owner of the ranch is a little shady. So that's where I am now. I'm about a quarter of the way through. It's really short. Like I said, I could probably finish that tonight, but so far I'm intrigued. But yeah, I do like Westerns from time to time. So every year, whenever this June on the Range comes around, thank you, Michael Cavon. Every time it comes around, I enjoy myself a little Western. And I forgot I had all those in grays in there. So those might have to come up soon. So I had mentioned that I moved, and when I was packing everything, I found out I had over 1,100 physical books, and that I was going to be trying to read through those, not buy too many new things. And if I didn't get immersed into the book about a quarter of the way through, then I was going to just, and if it was part of a series, I was going to go ahead and chuck the whole series right along with that first book. And that's what happened right now. I started this Across the Nightingale Floor. This is by Leanne Hearn. There's her name. I don't know. There's the name right here. Leanne Hearn. And it's a series called Tales of the Otori. And it is set in medieval Japan, which is why I was drawn to it. And I've had these books for many years. And I thought, oh, I'm going to get to it. It sounds cool. It sounds cool. And I just never did until now. And I got about maybe 80 pages into this. And I wasn't digging it. So what it's supposed to be about is a young man who lives kind of poor, and he starts to find out that his father was an assassin, and there are a whole lot of things that happen. His village gets raided, blah this, blah that. There is a warlord who, in his security and defense of where his stronghold is, he's got this floor that he calls the Nightingale Floor. And I didn't really find out too much about what makes this floor so interesting. But it's called the Nightingale Floor, and it's supposed to deter unwelcome visitors, and particularly assassins. So that's about all I know about this book. I wasn't really feeling the dialogue. It didn't feel natural. It didn't feel comfortable, and it didn't. The flow of the whole story just it really felt very, very much like it's written for teenagers, and that's not what I was looking for. I was looking for something more adult and rich, kind of like Shogun. Not that this was a bad book. It's just not what I wanted. I thought it was going to be a little less teenagery. So just not my style. It's not a bad book. But I wasn't going to go through the 3 that I have in the series. And I think there's 2 more in the series that I never got around to buying. Which now I'm glad about it. But so these 3 books I am going to be taking to the little free library. And if you want to know, the other books are, let's see, book 2 is Grass for His Pillow, and the third one is Brilliance of the Moon. Now, these covers are really pretty, and the titles are intriguing. And like I say, it's medieval Japan, and that just really sounded interesting to me, but I just wasn't getting into this. Maybe I'm just not in that frame of mind right now. But since I am trying to downsize all the books that I have, I'm going to be getting rid of this series because I've got a whole lot more that I could potentially love. So put those over there. So then I did a really small book. Actually, give me a second. I have this series that I found in a bookstore, and they had a clearance cart outside of the store out front. And I was just going through this clearance cart and I found this series and I didn't know what it was about. This is it's called I don't know how to pronounce it, Galisel's Tale. And it's books 1, 2, and 3. So the first book is called Dien Vec. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it. There's the author, Carolyn Kay. But I was intrigued by the pictures on the... I'm so easily satisfied. I was drawn by the pictures. That's the second book. And then this is the last book. And it's set in Victorian era. And there's the human world, which is where we live. And then there's the hidden lands, which is where all the fae live. Fairies and elves and dwarves and all of these things. Fauns and satyrs and all of these mystical beings, they live in the hidden lands. And they used to be able to remain hidden. And if they wanted to come into the human world, they would have to cross this veil. But 50 years ago, there was a comet and it crashed into Earth and it broke that veil, revealing the hidden lands. So, you know, there had to be all of these different treaties and promises and stuff like that of between the humans and the fae. And of course, that's going to benefit some and it's going to be really detrimental to others, especially considering the class system back in the Victorian era. And this is Victorian, it seems like Victorian England, although they don't call it that. But it's that general area and they keep referring to Queen Victoria. But Queen Victoria is now under the advice. She's got an advisor who is a god, the god of chaos, and the god of chaos has Queen Victoria under his thumb, and so she's making some decisions that are breaking treaties, and so it kind of goes on from there. And the main character is Galisel, and there's a thing that's the status for elves, especially if they're royalty, which she is. She's a princess, but she's also an ambassador between the hidden lands and the human world. And so she's got the elf ears, the points, and she's got certain jewels and gems on the tips of her ears. And some bad things happened and she gets caught up by some elves that are on the side of not good. They get a hold of her and they cut the tips of her ears off very raggedly. And that is a form of torture called the Dien Vec. And it's usually done to people who, or to elves who have done something horrific. And now it's been done to her for no fault of her own. And so she's young. I don't know. It's very short, and it was very interesting. There's a lot of kind of like, I don't know if this would be considered steampunk type stuff, but it just seems kind of like that. But it's definitely Victorian era. It's interesting, and it was really, really light. So and it was really short. So I went through this really quick. I liked it. I wouldn't say it's the best thing that I've ever read, but I liked it enough to finish or to go through the other two. But I'm going to put those aside for just a little while because I decided on another book. I don't know. I've got that, I want to read everything thing. I still haven't gotten to Under the Lake by Stuart Wood that I keep saying I'm going to do next. I'm going to do it next. I'm going to do it next. And I keep pushing it off. So it's literally sitting right there looking at me all kind of sad and abandoned. But I'm going to read this one, The Amalfi Curse by Sarah Penner. And I really don't know anything about this book. I have this book by her, and then I also have The Lost Apothecary. I don't believe that they're a series, but the cover is so pretty. And the inside is so pretty. Sometimes I do judge a book by its cover. Or at least I buy a book by its cover. I don't really know much about what it is, what it's about. A trailblazing nautical archaeologist has come to the sun-soaked village of Positano to investigate the mysterious shipwrecks along the Amalfi coast. But there is something beneath the azure waters. I'm just kind of paraphrasing. I'm not reading the whole thing word for word. Let's see. Oh, there's going to be magic involved. So this is going to be kind of a fantasy, I think. But I actually just got it because it is super pretty. I'm a simple person, simple human being, simple things that make me happy. So I have started another audiobook, and it is called The Lotus Shoes. I'm going to have to put the author here because I don't remember her name, but it seems to be so far about a young, really young girl who her mother binds her feet because that used to be the practice because that was considered beautiful. And they found her a home that she could go to as a servant. And she's very smart. And so far she's not having a good time hanging around with the person, the young lady of the house whose servant she is. She's very rude and very entitled and mean, and I'm assuming that at some point there's going to be a romantic involvement somewhere. She's gonna want to be finding a husband. That's what they keep telling her. You need to go here, and you need to meet people, and people are gonna love you because of your talents, your different talents, and as well as your tiny little feet. So I'm very, very early stages in this book. But so far I'm intrigued and I'm interested in listening to it more. So yeah, that's what I got going on. I thought it was going to be short and I just keep rambling on and on and on and on and on. I am going to go have some chips and salsa and I will see you next time. Bye.